software engineer or AI researcher and you pay them $500,000 a year. We do that all the time. Yeah. Okay, this is happening all over the time. That $500,000 engineer at the end of the year, I'm going to ask them how much did you spend in tokens? And that person said $5,000. I will go ape something else.
Yes.
Right.
If that $500,000 engineer did not consume at least $250,000 worth of tokens, I am going to be deeply alarmed. Okay, and this is no different than one of our chip designers who says, guess what? I'm just going to use paper and pencil. I don't think I'm going to need any CAD tools.
Right. This is a real paradigm shift to start thinking about these all-star employees. It almost reminds me of what we learned in the NBA when LeBron James started spending $1 million a year just on his health of his body, like, and maintaining it.
That's right.
Here he is at age 41, still playing. It really is, hey, if these are incredible knowledge workers, why wouldn't we give them superhuman abilities?
That's exactly right.
Where does that go? If we extrapolate out 2 or 3 years from now, what is the efficiency of that all-star at Nvidia and what they're able to accomplish? What do they look like?
Well, first of all, things that wow, this is too hard. That thought is gone. This is going to take a long time. That thought is gone. We're going to need a lot of people. That thought is gone. This is no different than in the last industrial revolution. Somebody goes, boy, that building really looks heavy. Nobody says that.
Right.
Nobody, wow, that mountain looks too big. Nobody says that.
Right.
Everything that's too big, too heavy, takes too long, those ideas are all gone.
You're reduced to creativity.
That's right.
What can you come up with?
Exactly.
Right.
Which means, now the question is, how do you work with these agents? Well, it's just a new way of doing computer programming. In the past, we code. In the future, we're gonna write ideas, architectures, specifications. We're gonna organize teams. We're gonna help them define how to evaluate the definition of good versus bad. Right. What does it look like when something is a great outcome? How to iterate with you, how to brainstorm. That's really what you're looking for. And I think that every engineer is gonna have 100 agents.
Back to the PR problem the industry has right now, you have executives like David Freeberg with Ohalo, who's looking at literally taking, through the use of technology, your technology and AI, the number of calories produced and making high quality calories. What is the factor you think you can bring the cost down, Freeberg, and what impact does this vision have for what you're doing?
Like zero-shot genomic modeling, and it works.
Yeah.
And you have that moment and you're like, holy shit. Honestly, like, and that's after people are replacing entire enterprise software stacks in a night. I did something in 90 minutes I was telling the guys about, replaced the whole software stack and like a whole bunch of workload. 90 minutes on Claude, ran this agentic system, built the whole thing, deployed it, and on a Sunday night, 10 p.m. I was done at 11:30. I went to bed.
As the CEO, you replaced.
Yeah, and
software.
Everyone on my management team had to do a similar exercise over the weekend. What we saw on Monday, I was like, it's over. But the technical stuff, the science stuff, we did something in 30 minutes using auto research, and I'd love your view on auto research and what that tells us about how far we still have to go in terms of efficiency. But using auto research and a chunk of data, something was published internally that we said, oh my God, and that would normally be a PhD thesis that would take 7 years. That would be one of the most celebrated PhD theses we've ever seen in this field, and it would be in the journal Science, and it was done in 30 minutes on a desktop computer running on auto research with all the data we just ingested. We got it on Friday, and we're like, hey, let's try it. Boot it up, go into GitHub, downloaded auto research, and ran it. And you see everyone's face just go like, and then the potential of what this is unlocking for us is like the kind of thing that would take 7 years, and it happened in 30 minutes. And we're experiencing it in genomics, and we're like, this is unbelievable. So I think like the acceleration is widening the aperture for everyone in a way that like you didn't imagine a few years ago. But just going back to the auto research point, can you just comment on what you think about the fact that this thing got published with 600 lines of code in a weekend and the capacity that it has to run locally and achieve what it can achieve with all of these diverse data sets, and what that tells us about the early stages we are in terms of optimization on algorithms and hardware?
The fundamental reason why OpenClaw is so incredible, number one, is its confluence, its timing with the breakthroughs in large language model.
Yeah.
Its timing was perfect. It was impeccable.
Yeah.
Now, in a lot of ways, Peter wouldn't have come up with it probably if not for the fact that Claude and GPT and ChatGPT have reached a level that is really very good.
Right.
It is also a new capability that allows these models to tool use. The tools that we've created over time, web browsers and Excel spreadsheets, and in the case of chip design, Synopsys and Cadence and Omniverse and Blender and Autodesk, and all of these tools are going to continue to be used. There's some people say that the enterprise IT software industry is going to get destroyed. Let me give you the alternative view. The enterprise software industry is limited by butts and seats. It's about to get 100 times more agents banging on those tools. There are going to be agents banging on SQL. There are going to be agents banging on vector databases, agents banging on Blender, agents banging on Photoshop. And the reason for that is because those tools are, first of all, do a very good job. Second, those tools are the conduit between us. In the final analysis, when the work is done, it has to be represented back to me in a way that I can control.
Right.
And I know how to control those tools. And so I need everything to be put back into Synopsys. I want everything to be put back into Cadence, because that's how I control it. That's how I ground truth.
Let me ask you a question about open source. So we have these closed source models. They're excellent.
Yeah.
We have these open weight models. Many of the Chinese models are incredible, absolutely incredible. 2 days ago, you may not have seen this because you were busy on stage, but there was a training run that happened in this crypto project called BitTensor. Subnet 3, they managed to train a 4 billion parameter llama model, totally distributed, with a bunch of people contributing excess compute. But they were able to do it statefully and manage a training run, which I thought was like a pretty crazy technical accomplishment.
Yeah.
Because it's like random people and each person gets a little share.
Our modern version of folding at home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the end state of open source? Do you see this decentralization of architecture as well, and decentralization of compute to support open weights and a totally open source approach to making sure AI is broadly available to everybody?
I believe we fundamentally need models as a first-class product, proprietary product, as well as models as open source. These two things are not A or B, it's A and B. There's no question about it. And the reason for that is because models is a technology, not a product. Models is a technology, not a service. For the vast majority of consumers, the horizontal layer, the general intelligence, I would really, really love not to go fine-tune my own.
Right.
I would really love to keep using ChatGPT. I love to use Claude. I love to use Gemini. I love to use X. And they all have their own personalities, as you know, which just kind of depends on my mood and depends on what problem I'm trying to solve. I might do it on X, or I might do it on ChatGPT. And so that segment of the industry is thriving. It's going to be great. However, all these industries, their domain expertise, their specialization has to be channeled, has to be captured in a way that they can control. And that it can only come from open models. The open model industry, we're contributing tremendously to. It is near the frontier. And quite frankly, even if it reaches the frontier, I think that products as a service, world-class products models as a product is going to continue to thrive.
Every startup we're investing in now is open source first, and then going to the proprietary models.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is, because you have a great router you connect it to, on first day, every single day, you're going to have access to the world's best model, and then it gives you time to cost reduce and fine tune and specialize, and so you're going to have world-class capabilities out to shoot every single time.
Jensen, can I just ask?
Of course.
Nobody wants the U.S. to win the global AI race more than you, right? But a year ago, the Biden-era diffusion rule really was an anti-American diffusion of AI around the world. So here we are a year into the new administration. Give us a grade. Where are we in terms of global diffusion and the rate at which we're spreading U.S. AI technology around the world? Are we an A? Are we a B? Are we a C? What's working? What's not working?
Well, first of all, President Trump wants American industry to lead. He wants American technology industry to lead. He wants American technology industry to win. He wants us to spread American technology around the world. He wants the United States to be the wealthiest country in the world. He wants all of that. at the current moment as we speak, Nvidia gave up a 95% market share in the second largest market in the world, and we're at 0%. President
China.
Trump, that's right. President Trump wants us to get back in there, and the first thing is to get licensed for the companies that we're going to be able to sell to. We've got many companies who have requested for licenses. We've applied for licenses for them, and we've got approved licenses from Secretary Lutnick. Now we informed the Chinese companies, and many of them have given us purchase orders. And so we're in the process of cranking up our supply chain again to go ship. I think at the highest level, Brad, I think one of the things that we should acknowledge is this: our national security is diminished when we don't have access to miniature motors, rare earth minerals. It's diminished when we don't control our telecommunications networks. It's diminished when we can't provide for sustainable energy for our country. It is fundamentally diminished. Every single one of these industries is an example of what I don't want the AI industry to be.
Right.
When we look forward in time and we say, what do we want? What does it look like when American technology industry, American AI industry leads the world? We can all acknowledge that there is no way that AI models is one universally. We can all acknowledge that that is an outcome that makes no sense. However, we can all imagine that the American tech stack, from chips to computing systems to the platforms, are used broadly by the world, where they build their own AI, they use public AI, they use private AI, whatever, and they can build their applications in their society. I would love that the American tech stack is 90% of the world.
Yes.
I would love that. The alternative, if it looks like solar, rare earth, magnets, motors, telecommunications, I consider that a very bad outcome for national security.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much are you monitoring the situation with the conflicts around the world right now, and how much does it worry you, Jensen? So China and Taiwan, and then helium availability coming out of the Middle East, I understand can be a supply chain risk to semiconductor manufacturing. How much do these situations worry you? How much are you spending on them?
Well, first of all, I think in Middle East, we have 6,000 families there.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Iranians at Nvidia, and their families are still in Iran, and so we have a lot of families there. The first thing is they're quite anxious, they're quite concerned, quite scared. We're thinking about them all the time. We're monitoring and keeping an eye on them all the time. They have 100% of our support. I've been asked several times, are we still considering being in Israel? We are 100% in Israel. We are 100% behind the families there. We are 100% in the Middle East. I was also asked, given what's happening in the Middle East, is that an area where we believe that we can expand artificial intelligence to? I believe that there's a reason we went to war, and I believe at the end of the war, Middle East will be more stable than before. And so if we were there, if we're considering it before, we should absolutely be considering it after. And so I'm 100% in on that. With respect to to Taiwan, we have to do three things. One, we have to make sure that we reindustrialize the United States as fast as we can.
Yeah.
And whether it's the chip manufacturing plants, the computer manufacturing plants, or the AI
How
factories.
are we doing on that?
We're doing excellent. By gaining the strategic support, by gaining the friendship of the supply chain of Taiwan, by gaining their friendship, by gaining their support, we were able to build Arizona and Texas, California at incredible rates. They are genuinely a strategic partner. They deserve our support. They deserve our friendship. They deserve our generosity. And they're doing everything they can to accelerate the manufacturing process for us. And so I think that's number one. Number two, we ought to diversify the manufacturing supply chain. And whether it's South Korea, whether it's Japan, it's Europe, we ought to diversify the supply chain, make it more resilient. And number three, let's demonstrate restraint. And while we're increasing our diversity and resilience, let's not push,
Unnecessary.
And sorry,
We need to be
it's-
patient.
It's,
Yeah.
thoughtful.
Is helium
Yeah.
a problem? A lot of reports.
You know,
on
I
helium.
think helium could be a problem, but it's also the case that the supply chain probably has a lot of buffer in it.
Yeah.
These kind of things tend to have a lot of buffer, but you know,
You've made massive progress in self-driving. You made a big announcement. You've added many more partners, including BYD. There was just a video of you driving around in a Mercedes, and a huge announcement with Uber that you're going to have a number of cars on the road from many different manufacturers. Your bet is, I believe, that there's going to be an Android type open source platform that you're going to play a major part in with dozens of car providers. And then maybe on the other side, there could be an iOS with Tesla or Waymo. What's your strategy thinking there and how that chessboard emerges? Because it feels like you have a pretty deep stack, and in some ways you're competing, and in other places you're collaborative.
yeah.